Welcome to Jackson's Leisure. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Truma Combi 4E, link below. We're going to look at what you're going to find in the box first of all when opening. So when you take this out of the box, you're going to have the main unit. You're going to have the length of the Flue ducting and the cowl. You're also going to have the cold connection, the hot connection, the drain valve, the control unit with the data cable, and the temperature sensor. So now we're going to focus on the pipe work on the plumbing. As I mentioned earlier, this connection is included. It's a 10mm onto the boiler itself on the cold feed, and a 12mm John Guest feed coming out just here. Like I say, this is included in the kit. The rest of it up here is not included. So we've used a 90 12mm John Guest fit in there, and then we come to the drain valve. It's important that in the winter that you drain the system down like this. This takes all the water out of the system and protects it from frost damage. Moving along the system, we've got a check valve here. This is not included in the kit, and you will need to buy this separately. You can see on the top there's an arrow. That means that the water will only travel in that direction. The reason it's important for this to be installed in the system is that if you didn't have that there, if the pump wasn't under pressure, your tank would empty. On the hot side, so we've got the hot water coming out, and at the top here we've got this tube. Now what this tube does, this needs to go to the outside of the van. This will allow any of the air that's in the system to come out automatically. You may find from time to time some residue of water coming out with that as well, and that's why it's important that it's outside of the van. Again, it's a 10mm connection onto the boiler, which is also push fit, and then 12mm out, and that's just going again to your John Guest 12mm pipe and your 12mm John Guest elbow. Okay, we're going to take a look at this now, which is the Truma frost control set. This is not included in this kit. However, if you can replace the normal manual valve, which is here, that does come in the kit. You can replace this valve with this valve. What that means is that this is manual and you need to drop the water for frost, whereas this frost control set will detect the cold and the frost, and it will dump the water if there's a frost present. Okay, let's have a closer look at the frost control set. So inside the box, we're going to get the small pipe with the screw and connections, and the valve itself. So quite simply, once removing this valve here, this one will just simply go straight in its place. What this one will do is, it's got a reset button on the back, but if it detects frost, it will just react like this, and you'll notice that this button's out. Once that's out, the water will just drain from the system through this pipe and straight outside of the van, protecting your system from frost damage. So let's have a quick look at some of the John Guest fittings. So here's a piece of the John Guest red, which is denoted as the hot pipe. Now it is advised that we use the inserts on the hot pipe, just because when the pipe gets hot, it could just collapse. Now it is semi-rigid, this pipe, but just by putting the insert in, normally push it down like so, so it looks like this, and then it would go into your fitting. So this is a straight connection just for demonstration, and when you push it in, it's got to be a good firm push in. You'll know it's in because you'll feel it, and it'll go right to the back of this fitting, and that's in nice. Have a look at the gas connection on this Truma 4. So if we come down and have a look, so we've got it in an 8mm copper. Now it must be fitted with copper and not with a flexi. We've popped a isolation valve in here. This is in the on position, this is in the off position. It's always good practice to have an isolation valve next or near to the boiler. We've also put a drop vent in here, Again, for safety, this vent should be installed next to the boiler. Going up the 8mm pipe onto the connection, this is where it's connected on the boiler itself, just at the back. This connection is included in the kit. It is recommended that this part of the system is fitted by a qualified person and signed off by a qualified gas engineer. Okay, let's have a look at the flue. So the flue is down here. The pipe does come, it's a lot longer. This is a balanced flue. So the exhaust gases come from the inside and the intake is through here, through the outside. So the air from outside will be coming in, which is the combustion air, and the exhaust gases are coming from the outside. On the outside of the van you will fit the cowl cover, and it shows you directional, so how it should be fitted with the arrows. And that's a nice finish just on the outside of your van. This pipe is a bit bendy as well, so it allows you to get the right angles. I'm going to take a look at the hot air ducting on this Truma Combi 4E. So as you can see, on this side of the boiler we've got 4 outlets, 2 at the front and 2 at the rear. Now the ducting is not included, but you can buy the ducting, and it comes like this. It's got a foil inside to retain the heat, and it's really strong on the outside because it's rigid and ribbed, but it will also turn quite nicely to get you around the angles. So how this fits onto the boiler itself is little clips in here, and they just grip hold of the corrugated part. So if we push it in, you'll hear it clipping in, and then that's a really good solid fix. The same with the ducting plenums on the end. So these are valves, so they will open and close to allow the air to pass through, and again they just fit on, so they're just like that. Now what they say is that the top part of these will blow hotter and the bottom ones will blow, they'll still blow hot but not quite as hot. So at the back of your van, perhaps where your garage is, you might want to take the ducting from the top here and run that all the way down to the bottom, and this one up to the top where the cab, perhaps where you've got the single glazed windows. The 2 at the bottom you may put into the middle of the vehicle. Have a look at the electrical connections. So you'll find the electrical connections just underneath this panel here. So if we lift this away, pop that to one side. So starting from the left hand side, we've got the 12 volt connection here, so you can see the spade fittings that go onto there. The next one that you're going to need to be looking at is over here, which is this one. Now this is the cable that goes to your temperature sensor. If this is not fitted, the boiler will not work, it'll just come up with an error code every time. The next connection is this one here. This is your communications cable. So this goes into one of the ports, and then that cable goes through to your control panel. So taking a look at the 240 volt connection, this cable is included and it is already glanded into the boiler. So as you can see, we've got it at the bottom here. Now ideally this should be connected to a fuse spur with local isolation. So just to finish off on this demonstration, we talked about the cable that was going to the temperature sensor. We popped the temperature sensor down here for demonstration purposes. Now this cable doesn't come with the kit and you need to provide that yourself. The temperature probe should be set somewhere high level in the van. The control panel itself, if we look at the back of that, we can see there's the other end of the communication cable that goes into the boiler. Now as you can see, this doesn't carry the power to the control panel, it carries the data. The control panel must be connected to a 12 volt connection via this cable. This little cable is included, but it is short and you will need to add on to it. All the instructions for the control panel are on the PDF on our website and also in the booklet that's provided. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope it helps.